Hello YouTubers. I'm doing this video strictly for entertainment. I guess because I'm a weirdo. Still, I thought I'd show you the results. I've made a high quality PDF available of a map that shows places where you're more likely to have real, long lasting encounters of UFOs. A download link is in the description, and I'll also show the map at the end of the video. To be clear, I'm not talking about spaceships from other planets. I mean that the encounters aren't hoaxes, that something unexplained is going on. Like most, I'm a bit on the skeptical side about aliens traveling light years to visit Earth and possibly probe people. With that said, there's certainly some unexplainable aerial phenomena that occurs, and many reports have come from highly credible sources. We shouldn't be dismissive of unexplainable events, but rather should embrace them to try and understand what's going on. The first thing I did was collect tabular data from the National UFO Research Center. I collected the cleaned version, which has over 100,000 records, of which 90,000 or so has geocoding at the city level. However, the data still needed a lot of cleaning and curating. I needed to ensure that all rows had associated date and spatial coordinate entries, so I used Excel to remove all rows that had null values for the date column and that had null values for latitude and longitude. Once that was done, I opened up ArcGIS and changed the coordinate system to WGS84, then added the XY data to the layer. Upon looking at the attribute table, I noticed that the date and time column was not separated, so I opened the file back up in Excel and used text to columns to split the entry into two separate cells, while also ensuring that the data type was set to date for the date column. As suspected, after cleaning the data, I was still faced with a dilemma. I still had a bunch of entries and was willing to bet that many of them were false positives. How could I cull out many of the false positives? I'm sure that whatever method I took would also cull out some of the actual positives, but if it culled out many more false positives than actual positives, it would improve the accuracy significantly. I figured that if the event was for a short duration, then it was more likely to be related to natural phenomena like meteorological events or possibly meteors, weather balloons, or whatever. If, however, the duration was for more than an hour, I found it much more likely that the events were related to the above phenomena and mundane explanations. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that there are a lot less likely explanations for UFOs of such a long duration, though I'm sure it doesn't cull out all of the false positives. There are a few more things I can do, but it's what I have for now. From the original table of over 100,000 records, around 4,500 records were retained to produce the map. Obtaining entries of UFOs with a duration of an hour or longer was very easy by entering a SQL expression, from which I created a shapefile of point data and added a base map, then visually inspected the data when compared to the shapefile I made of the original data set. As suspected, most of the points were clustered around heavily populated areas like Chicago or the West and East Coast. In my opinion, most of these points were likely from chemical fires or other accidents related to human development. I wanted to create a hotspot analysis that factored in time as well as space, and ArcGIS has a built-in tool for that. First, I projected the data into North American Albers Equal Area Conic to be suitable as input for creating a space-time cube from aggregated points using ArcToolbox. I could then use the resulting netcdf file as input for the emerging hotspot tool. As suspected, the area showed fairly consistent sightings in most populated places. However, what was quite surprising was that the emerging hotspot analysis revealed emerging hotspots in extremely rural locations throughout Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. The data also indicated New Orleans to be an emerging hotspot for UFO sightings. While there are likely still false positives in the map, at least the map does show where there have been reports of UFOs where the sightings have lasted longer than an hour. A future video will make further refinements to the data and compare it to this map. I'll also do some more detailed statistical analysis using R in a future video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please show your support by subscribing. Thanks for your time.